Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Non-Stop Tabletop, where I go ahead and I do my jazz hands as always. Thumbs up, jazz hands everywhere. Today, we are going to be talking about the Sentinels. We're just going to be doing our first initial impressions of them, what we think of just them as a whole. We already know Cassandra Nova is on the list as well, so we're going to be going ahead, jumping right in. Before we do that, I just want to go ahead and mention, I've been forgetting to mention this for a while. If you're in the Rhode Island area, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, all of that little bordering area, we've been playing weekly at our very good friend's place, Gaia's Cradle. Not a sponsorship, just wanted to plug it because he's been awesome. Jared, he's been great, helping us out a ton. And if you ever go by, come say hi. We play on Saturdays. That's it. Just if you want to come play, we play on Saturdays at around like noontime. That's all. So come by, say hi, join the Discord, say hi. That's it. Now, on to the main point as to why we're here. We're going to be going ahead and talking about the Sentinels, the big bad boy Sentinels. So, first off, what do you boys think? We're going to be chatting about these big robot homies.
Maybe about how big they are.
Yeah, I really like the model. They're fucking huge.
First off, straight out of the gate, they are gigantic. I forgot to grab the size comparison. That's my bad. They're bigger than Dormammu.
Yeah, by a
Well, the
lot.
Prime is, right?
Prime is
only
like
the Prime one.
bigger than Dormammu.
The normal ones, they're a little shorter, I believe. Not by a lot.
But still, they're both.
You're still gonna have to figure out how you're gonna transport these guys, cause you're probably gonna run 3 of them.
Yeah, because in the roster, because that's the first thing straight out of the gate is with the Sentinel Mark IV, not the leader. Sentinel Prime is the leader. Sentinel Mark IV, you can run 2 of them in your roster. That's gonna be my first thing straight out of the gate. So the first thing is, yes, they're big with models. They're gonna be big, imposing threats on the board. The board with this game is starting to get big because you get Sentinels, Sentinel Prime, Malekith, Dormammu. It's gonna be a big ass game very soon.
We're like very quickly approaching a scenario where 3x3 isn't big enough anymore.
Oh god.
Yeah, we're running a space. You're definitely gonna have. It's gonna be weird when you have 2 people playing Sentinels, really, and
that'll be a fun game to watch.
Oh
6
my god.
massive figures on the board.
Speaking of big blue pink monstrosities on the board, now give us Galactus. I don't care how you do it. We've already gotten one big blue pink thing with Sentinels. Give me Galactus, goddammit.
Yeah, they can just give us the foot of Galactus and
just his foot
scale.
That's it. Yeah, that's all. It's like Exodia. So you gotta assemble the pieces of them, put it on, and he kind of reaches the rooftop of wherever you're at. It's like, hey, here's my Galactus, guys. You gotta transport him. All right. Besides that, that's kind of my weird thing so far. It's nothing bad. It's just weird that I could only have 3 of them. The Sentinels, that's kind of the point, is that it's like a big army trying to say no more mutants. Besides, Scarlet Witch, who actually said that. Death to all mutants. And just 3 of them, it's just weird. And it's what? Ultimately, because Sentinel Prime is 5. These guys are 4, so what's that? 13? Yeah, thank you. Math's hard.
Yeah, so they end up at like a weird team cost because it kind of feels up front like you would want to run a bunch of low cost, like low threat things, and then just run your 3 Sentinels and have them overpower whatever list your opponent has to come up with to try and fight 3 Sentinels in 14 or 15 points. But they fall at 13, which puts them in just this awkward spot where 15 you have to run like an awkward 2 cost like
Toad
or Nebula or Toad or someone.
Awkwardly bring Toad, a mutant, alongside the Sentinels. But
anyway, for team costs and stuff, that's sort of another thing. But I don't know. Looking at Prime first, he's got a good stat line. He's got ridiculous health. He's got 18 health for a 5 threat, putting him 2 below She-Hulk and Hulk, who are 20 at 6 threat. So that's pretty good up front. And their defenses are better than the Hulk's also.
Yeah, More they
overall, at least.
10
Yeah.
stamina, 10 stamina front side, 8 on the back side for Prime. I very much appreciate excuse me. I very much appreciate stuff that just controls the board. So the restraint cables, realistically, you could use that as an aggressive tool or as a objective control tool. And I really appreciate stuff like that. It's very reminiscent of any of the spider people that somewhat do that.
Yeah, his 2 attacks are really good too.
Yeah. The fact that his builder can be buffed with power means like if you got like this weird 1 power or 2 power that you're not really planning on spending, you
Mhm.
could just like throw it into your builder and maybe you'll get it back. It'll be a net 0 cost attack and did more damage or something like that. Or
Yeah.
you know, it makes it interesting to have, potentially a 8 die builder being thrown
Yeah.
around.
Which and range 3 is solid. And if you're hitting with
Mhm.
an 8 die builder, yellow, some characters have. I mean, like the normal defense for anything is 3, so you're already hitting 5 dice above. If you have a good roll, like you're probably making that power back anyway.
Yeah.
So you're probably just like getting damage out and then getting the power back.
What
Free.
What I
basically.
love is essentially, in theory, on turn 2, because of Power Matrix, just with Prime, you can do the spender turn 2, and that spender is insane. It's like I love it. That
Yeah.
basic. They released this, and they were just like, "Hey, look, Malekith is out. Here you go. Here,
Yeah,
have this."
By the Sentinel team, they hard counter Malekith with the ability to put 3 special conditions on him with 1 attack and move him with restraint cables. Like, and his spender's blue, right?
Yeah.
No,
No.
it's red.
Malekith.
Oh, Malekith,
What
sorry.
What's his blue attack? Is that his
Blue
1
is
cost?
the
beam.
builder, I believe.
No,
Yeah.
Okay.
the blue, the yellow one is this the thing that he gets with his charge. It's the yellow one.
Yeah. So, like, another thing, so, like, his attacks being good against Malekith, restraint cable being really good stuff. He also does the thing that every leader should do, which is essentially support all the characters around them. Especially in a build like this where the other characters aren't supporting him, he has pattern analysis, which lets him sort of shore up the problems with the regular Sentinels, who are only 4 threat, so they've sort of got flaws in their kit. Pattern analysis kind of lets them shore it up by just giving them more defense, which is, like I said, something I think pretty much any leader should be doing.
My thing too, and I just love this card anyway. I've been using No Matter the Cost religiously lately, and now so I'm gonna be grabbing Sentinels on release day 1. Don't care. I won't be able to play around with them during a league because I'm already committed to Winter Guard this season. Can't wait to tell you guys about that. Thumbs up.
Yeah, Winter Guard really going
Yeah,
deep.
it's good. I mean, I've won 2 games so far, and I've only lost 1. Not in a league, but I got destroyed by Asgardians. So here's hoping. But anyway, so being able to use No Matter the Cost, so to potentially, obviously you're more than likely not going to be able to do it. In very rare scenarios, you could force it, but turn 1 you could do Suppression Protocol. I love it. It makes me so happy, especially if Malekith goes first. He's never really going to, but you could use it, go up to Malekith, take a couple damage on a Sentinel. That's fine. You're going to hate yourself, but to potentially give him Incinerate, Shock, and Slow on turn 1, it's like,
on turn 1,
That would be
he gets neutered.
Yep. Obviously, we've had characters that can do that, right? Especially, on a spender. I mean, on a builder, no less. Because or no, Element Gun is it? Element Gun. That's a spender, right?
That is a spender. So
okay, so it is.
It's on his builder, but it's similar. It does it doesn't do incinerate. It does bleach, shock, glow, and stun.
Oh, so he gets a 4th one still too.
Yeah. So you can get on the rare occasion, which I have gotten
Yeah.
once at least before for Star-Lord 4 wilds on that spender and just give
Yeah.
everything to the
Mm-hmm.
other.
It
The opponent
Sentinel
always psyched when that
programming.
happens.
Yeah, Sentinel programming is just a good ability to have.
it's just funny. It's just nice to have.
A big fuck you to blue characters.
Yeah,
Since blue
fuck you,
characters
Jean
were
Grey.
running amok, like blue characters like dominated the game for a little while, and Brother Voodoo is still one of the best characters in the game.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is definitely gonna make this team's not gonna care about Brother Voodoo. It feels like
No.
they're gonna just walk on in and
They don't care about Brother Voodoo. They don't care about Convocation. They don't really care about certain aspects of Midnight Suns with Moon Knight or Blade when they
Yeah.
use their spenders.
Midnight Sun's gonna be in a rough spot against this team because
Which
they're
is-
immune to bleed.
Which is ironic.
And
They're good against every team I'm noticing but X-Men. Have you noticed that?
The only problem really is that
Yeah.
X-Men have like 1,000 characters, so
And
you can always build a team that deals with this, with anything with them.
yeah, and no
Their
one plays
roster's super
Jean Grey.
flexible.
Like Jean Grey's just non-existent.
Yeah. She's a 5 cost. One of your leaders is a 4 cost. Granted, Storm's leadership is better, and she's a 3, but that's a
Yeah.
whole other thing.
well, that
How
kind
you
of
guys-
leads into the whole thing with Sentinels is that to me it seems kind of weird that their physical is only 3 physical defense. I understand that like balancing wise for a 4 cost, like having 4 across the board is going to be like ridiculous, especially when you have that buff to the blue defense.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of weird that you have like these big armored robots, and it's like, oh yeah, physical is their weakness.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that was
think their
it.
defense should have been 4-4-3. I think that
Yeah,
would have
that-
made like more sense. But maybe that's too good. Maybe their blue at 3 is too good with the Sentinel programming. Maybe this was like their. I mean, I guess I see it right because a lot of
Mhm.
how the Sentinels get defeated in the comics is like Wolverine bursting through them.
Yeah, just pure
and stuff
fucking
like that.
aggression with
I
just
guess they-
pure unga bunga.
Yeah,
So-
they even modeled Rogue's model in the game with her holding a Sentinel heart or core, I guess really.
Yeah.
Um,
Same with
So it's like-
Colossus.
yeah,
Oh, he's standing up, holding
It-
up.
it-
Yeah, that's right.
you got an arm, which I wonder if that's to scale with these guys.
I was gonna say, I'm curious if the arm he's holding is to scale.
Now
Yeah,
That'd be
I
cool.
I haven't seen them with it. I haven't
ah,
seen them together yet, so.
it makes me want the
Uh,
Crash defeated Sentinel terrain pack, just so like once I have this team in my head, like thematically, it'd be
That's
like,
how you get the 4th one.
yeah. Oh, there it is. It's just
Dead.
dead. It's
Right.
sleeping.
It's dead.
Yeah,
How do you guys feel about Power Matrix?
I like it. I think it's
Yeah,
it.
it's interesting too that it's at the end of the activation where anything that's been power gained like this, we've seen at the power phase.
Yeah, with Asgardians or gems or
I think this is them learning their lesson,
It definitely
essentially.
holds them back a little bit from being like out of the gate doing ridiculous stuff.
Because
Really.
yeah, because like you've seen Asgardians, and generally speaking, Asgardians are a little tuned down because of how much power they get. Not in like a way where they become unplayable, but they're just like some of what they do is a little restricted.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
they
then,
either it kind of like for Asgardians, for a quick aside, yeah, you see that all the Asgardian team tactics cards are 3 power when like on average 2 power tends to be the norm for everyone else. So
Yeah.
they kind of like do handle them like in that fashion. But yeah, so I
and
think
I think
I
they looked at Malekith. This
Yeah.
feels like
Yeah.
like a playtesting thing where they did Malekith and they were like, he's a 7 threat, so this is okay. We can let him do this. Which even as a 7 threat, it still does too much for him to gain the 2 power. But I think they looked at these guys and they were like, all right, since everyone on the team is going to be gaining 2 power, their threat's kind of high. Maybe we just let them get it at the end of their activation. That way you plan your plays better. Maybe, these guys are set up, and because of their attack ranges, they're not really doing that much round 1 anyway, so it's kind of okay.
yeah,
that they
it's a lot
sort
of
of
Yeah, it's
board
not like-
placement. Do we know how
it's
big
not
they
like
are?
a-
Like the size, like the base models, the base size.
I think they share the same base size as Malekith and
So big,
Dormammu,
big boy.
right?
Yeah, so
It's I'm
Small,
pretty
fif-
positive it's the same as
65
Dormammu,
or whatever.
'cause
I think it's 65
if
millimeter.
there's like a comparison picture that one of you guys sent. If you take a look at it, you'll see next to Dormammu's base that
Well, we're
it'll
talking
show
about
you.
it. I actually like I like the power matrix just mainly, especially on Sentinel Prime, because what you could do is realistically, you're not going to be attacking somebody turn one. You know, obviously there's going to be some scenarios where that's not going to be the case, especially with the little team building involved. You could use power matrix at the end. Obviously, you're just going to gain that 2 inert power anyway, especially after you interact with your objectives, or whatever the case is. Place them somewhere possibly in the middle, or, you know, in a nice spot. Then you could utilize the pattern analysis, because that also can benefit your allies too, which is really nice. So you still have that 2 extra power as like a just in case kind of scenario. And I believe, do the others have it as well?
They do. They have,
no, they don't.
They have power matrix, but it
Yes, they have that.
changes to damage power matrix.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
they're
so instead of
Which is
getting
worse.
2, they get 1 at the end of their activation.
Yeah, which
which-
speaking of how it changes, when Sentinel Prime flips, he turns into Green Goblin, essentially. During the power
Right.
phase, roll 5 dice for each crit and hit rolled. He gains 1 power, but if he rolls a skull, he takes a damage.
that's I don't hate that. Granted,
I actually like this a lot.
Green Goblin doesn't have the skull thing, but Green Goblin's negative is that he can't take he can't interact with anything.
This guy can take objectives. This guy also has 8 health, so like taking 1 damage isn't the end of the world.
Yeah, he's gonna stay around. That kind of. Is there anything else we want to talk about the power matrix? Because that's gonna lead into the plasma blasts leak for the normal.
Oh yes, that's a good
before
segue.
we move to the normal ones, we just have to talk about his leadership real quick.
Oh yes, good call. We haven't even mentioned that.
I don't like it. I think it's kind of, I don't know. There's just something about it. I like to see it in person. It feels like a very inconsistent sort of, how to put it. These guys hit for a ton of damage, and this leadership kind of almost seems like it punishes you for dazing multiple characters in your activation, especially when the aggregate like threat level of a character is probably 3 to 4. So like you daze a character and 3 to 4 of your characters get power, and then they just can't get power again off the leadership for that activation. Essentially, I don't think it's bad.
No, it's definitely not bad.
Limited by like your opponent's team choices, how wide their team goes, or how small. Like if their team only has 3 characters, then you can only get this 3 times total for the whole game.
So I definitely don't hate it. It's
because it's only when you daze a character.
I think it doesn't work off grunts too. Yeah, it does not work on grunts because they're KO'd. Yep. So that's an important distinction. Right. I would say it's fairly good early. If you can get it early, then that's awesome. Late game, it won't matter as much. So especially if your opponent runs Toad, whatever, I'll just say just general 2 cost. Toad, Wong, granted no one's ever going to play Wong. So if you could just try to aim for them first and then daze them. Wow, look at that. I just dazed you, not counting if I used Plasma Blast. Wow, look, I'm getting another power for it. And the other Sentinels are gaining that as well. If you can maintain that, you could use that to be able to pepper damage on other characters to set up more plays for the next round.
Yeah, I also just like the idea of this being like an early game leadership. I still don't think it's great because like you get some bad rolls and like you're sort of behind because your leadership didn't do anything for 2 rounds, and maybe you just get unlucky and you don't daze anyone. Now you're basically playing unaffiliated.
Yeah, it's not. It can have its moments, but does feel like this leadership's not going to be as much of a game changer.
It's a win more
as some other leaderships are.
Yeah.
You got even Winter Guard's leadership where they remove status conditions, like that has like incredible uses where like stun or staggers don't really affect you. So like you don't lose those actions, and that's like really good. This getting the other power, you can add it to the Plasma Blast. You can maybe get that 1 more power that you need to do a spender or restraint cables on another character, but it's going to be situational at best, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
and sort of as kind of a segue into talking about the regular Sentinels, they don't really have a need for that power. Like, they probably
Yeah.
want it to make their builder hit a little harder because it's only a 4 dice. That's one of the differences. They have a 4 dice builder instead of a 5.
Mhm.
Suppression costs 1 less power but only loses a dice, which I think is a perfectly acceptable trade-off for such a strong ability. So while they like it, they don't need it, and then they only have 1 superpower, and it's restraint cables, and it only costs 2, which means that they're already paying for it off of Power Matrix starting from turn 2 anyway.
Yeah, which that
Yeah,
restraint.
I'm not
so-
saying that they don't need it.
No,
but,
no,
like,
no. You're definitely going
terms
to
of,
use
like-
restraint cables more on round 2 anyway.
Yeah. Like,
So-
the only characters on the Affiliation that even care about it are probably Sentinel Prime and Cassandra Nova, because those are, as far as we know, those are the only 3 characters on the Affiliation. Even
Currently,
she
yeah.
doesn't really need the power, but so, like, I don't know. It seems like they could have
depending on
done
your team.
something else. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and in my
Like,
opinion,
maybe
which kind of covers all of Sentinel Prime. So that leak of the sizes came out before, where you saw him bigger than Dormammu.
Mm.
I was kind of just not expecting him to be a 5 cost. I don't.
Yeah, right.
It just kind of was like the teaser of like, oh, he's bigger than Dormammu. I was thinking like, oh, okay, he's probably gonna be another 7 or maybe even an 8 cost. But he's a 5. So it was kind of funny when I first saw him. I'm like, oh, he's only a 5, and he seems reasonable at a 5, but it was just
Seems
kind of
pretty good
surprising.
for a 5.
Yeah,
Considering characters like Black Bolt, like a character like Black Bolt is also a 5, and then this guy's a 5. Like, he's a good
Yeah.
5.
but Black Bolt's
But-
leadership's better.
And they
Black Bolt has
only
a better leadership, but like
it-
no powers.
and they only move small. That's an important distinction. And Nick and I brought this up. It's weird that a character would move small and then have flight. So then it's just like, why bother?
I guess
Yeah,
it's for the team tactics cards and abilities that affect things that can fly. I guess is probably
Yeah,
why
and-
it's tagged on.
That just seems few and far between. But I guess that's kind of a discussion for.
And plus, it's a
Like
single
another
line.
day,
Like, who
really.
cares? Just throw it on there. Whatever. They can fly. Sure. Whatever. You know.
The small movement's fine because their base is so big. We've seen it
Yeah,
with
it's not gonna be a
Dormammu.
problem.
He moves far enough with small. Hulk moves far enough with small, because their base is essentially a second small movement tool.
Yeah.
It's like slightly shorter than that. So
It evens out. And then plus, you have
Yeah.
restraint cables where you can kind of control where your opponents
yeah,
are.
with a crazy range of 4.
Of
too.
4?
4 is
Yeah.
4 is really good range to be able to maneuver someone else's characters at.
Mhm.
But
Guarantee
talking
you're
about
good.
the Mark 4s, there's a few changes. Their threat 4, their health is 7 and 6 as opposed to 10 and 8. Both of their attacks hit for 1 less dice, and when their power matrix flips, instead of rolling like Green Goblin does, they just gain 1 power at the end of their activation instead of 2. Those are the only changes.
Yeah.
I think
Sentinel.
Well, and
they're pretty
their
solid
builder
for
does
cost.
change though.
The regular boy, it's
Oh,
just
yeah,
the only
plasma
difference
leak.
is the plasma leak. Pretty much, that's the only like major difference between that. The damage power matrix, yes, it's just it lowers by 1, but the plasma leak is definitely the big thing where they actually don't want to roll crits, but they do want to roll crits. It doesn't really. It's really
It's
good.
like a weird trade-off.
It's gonna be.
I don't
It's
know.
definitely gonna be weird because I can see this. I can see happening in games with these guys being run. 6 isn't like a ton of health in the end. Like a
No,
lot of
it's
characters
really
have 6.
not.
Especially with
so-
3 physical defense, where a lot of characters
Yeah.
do physical attacks. It's gonna change it up a lot.
So when these guys flip, and again, 7's not a ton, with seeing that they don't really have much in terms of like mitigating or healing or anything, or nothing really. Maybe they'll have team task card with healing. I could see that being like maybe a repair. one
Like
or something, but-
repairing or some
Yeah.
self-repair or whatever. Oh,
But
maybe.
right now we don't know.
Can't
That's all
wait to run
speculation.
patch up on my Sentinels.
Yeah.
Have a
So-
band-aid, buddy.
So these guys are gonna
You're
flip,
good.
and they're gonna be in this situation where they're like about ready to get KO'd. Like maybe you gotta get even close for Plasma Leak too. It's only range 2.
Yeah, range
But-
2.
Maybe you can go off on somebody and just wipe them out with Plasma Leak. But there's a good chance you
Blow yourself up.
blow yourself up or put yourself in a state where it's like,
Yeah.
well, he's not gonna survive the round.
I want a game where I lose, where the Sentinel Mach 4 is the last thing alive, and then I just go, fuck it, and the plasma leak, and I just explode. That'd be so funny.
Yeah, we'll talk about this
Yeah.
in a spoiler alert, where we're going to be doing a team building sort of breakdown or ideas video. But looking at the Sentinel Mark 4s, I think it's probably a better call to just run one Mark 4, one Prime, and Cassandra Nova instead of the two Mark 4s, and just play with the extra threat, and then slot in some like flex units. I don't know, because the Sentinel Mark 4s,
The regular Sentinel, they're fine. They
Sentinel
are.
Prime's great. Sentinel Mark 4 feels like it's one of
Okay.
those snowball characters, but it's a snowball for your opponent, where like they daze it and now it's got 6 health, and if it does its builder at you to get the power to do suppression protocols, it dies. And there's like a chance it dies. Granted, it's probably going to take you with it, but if, maybe you just maneuver away your dazed characters from the one that's got plasma leak, and you leave your healthy characters near it, and now you're essentially trading their 4-threat character that blew itself up for like your healthy character that had 3 health left.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so
these are some specific situations, but I'm just seeing some sort of issues with them. I don't think they're bad. I think it'll be cool, and this might be an affiliation that I need to see in person before I really understand like what works and what doesn't. There's certain things on these cards that just like blatantly really good. Like Restraint Cables is nuts. Its ability
I
is
love Restraint Cables.
absurd. Sentinel programming, just having like a natural way to never be pushed by psychic attacks and have your psychic defense be better is also just really good. Like a lot of their passive skills are good. All of their builders leave a lot to be.
Yeah, they're
desired.
fine. I don't know.
I feel like they could have been 7 health, and they wouldn't have been broken.
Yeah, so it's like they're average. So all right, so I'll leave it like this. Up to you guys. We're just talking just Sentinels. So it's off the cards. We're not considering any other factors in it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or in the middle. What do you guys think?
For Sentinel Prime, huge thumbs up. I think he's a great character. For Sentinel Mark 4s, I'm going to go with a mid. I need to see what they do before I really give them an evaluation, but my first impression is like, they're all right. They're probably going to get a little more survivability than I'm giving them credit for from Sentinel Prime's leadership. So like Sentinel Prime needs the power that you're getting from his affiliation bonuses and stuff, but the other characters don't, and I think that's kind of like a miss. But yeah, so thumbs up for Prime, heater for Mark 4.
Yep. Nick, what do you think?
So with the caveat of me thinking that when they revealed these, that they would be a higher threat level, like I'm not disappointed, but it was kind of like surprising to me that they were a 4 and 5 cost in general. So like my expectations were kind of like thrown out the window because of that. But I think I'd give both of them. I give them a thumbs up. I think they're going to be interesting. They're going to be balanced. I think they're balanced pretty well based on what I'm seeing. We'll see when they actually hit the tables and stuff like that. See how well they work. Yeah, I don't know about the leadership ability, but there might be some usefulness there if you bringing in outside of the affiliation characters and stuff. There might be something there. So
there might be also like a team tactics card that gives Cassandra Nova.
That was my other point I was going to say.
We don't know their team tactics cards. We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't really know their affiliation.
So, that's the thing. So like, it could take us to both on, because I'm the exact same with Ryan. Prime, dude, 2 thumbs up from me. I love him. I think he's so cool. Leadership's mid, it's fine, but like as a character, awesome. Regular Sentinels, they're fine. I'm gonna try it just personally because I adore Sentinels. I love the design. I think they're so cool. I'm gonna play 2 and 1 just initially to start, kind of see how it goes from there.
Oh, you got it.
Team tactics cards could take them from here to here, dude. We don't know what it is yet. But that is it for Sentinels. Before we go ahead and wrap it up, we always like to go ahead and like to showcase some painting that our boy Ryan does. Today I have 2 set up. Today we're going to be showing the hand ninjas that he did for my Crime Boys, and that's gonna wrap up the my whole Crime Boys list.
Yeah.
For that.
They were really fun, and they were actually really easy to paint. So that was 2 thumbs up right there. They came out really good.
I can't believe you did the green cloud much better than my green goblin cloud, which kind of resembles a fart cloud.
Yeah.
So
I tried to make it seem like they weren't flying out of a poof of fart. I wanted to make it seem mystical. So I think it came out pretty good.
You painting them made me realize, and I've said this to you before, made me realize that that's actually a thing of bricks. That
yeah, in the middle.
In the middle. That's super weird. Did not think of that.
Out.
Yep.
I think it kind of looks gross. I would have rather it just be a lot more smoke.
Yeah, and then that totally would have been fine. And it's just like, nope, here's this weird patch of bricks.
Yeah, the model looks good. That's the first one that I put the Storm Guard on the ring, so hopefully it doesn't scuff. Like, for some reason, the Daredevil scuffed. Like,
immediately.
It was so weird. It was like one game and the entire ring around the base was just gone, and it wasn't getting any heavy use or anything, so I don't know, maybe it was just on too thin or something, but
no,
now I apply a storm coat on everything.
It's been good.
Sure
I just took that picture. That was like 25 minutes ago. All right, boys, that's going to wrap it up. Guys, let us know what you think of the Sentinels. Let us know what your impression is. Are they good? Are they bad? Whatever the case is, give us some of your theories on what you think you would like to see them do. And again, before I wrap it up, if you're in the area, check out Guy's Cradle, dude. They're awesome. Instagram, Facebook.
Sure.
This is not a plug. This is not a sponsorship. I promise. It's just me helping out a homie, and I want to see more people play at the store because I want to get more games in. God damn it.
Yeah.
Besides that, like, comment, subscribe, do the basic things. Thank you so much. Always remember to roll your crits, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.